How's it going, everybody? Doing a drinking, and it's going to mostly be a video game ramble here today. I'm going to try to go a little longer with it. I can hear this sirens from the fire trucks going around town, so I think Santa's coming around. They do that. They do that like all over the place. They'll come around Santa, so if that gets close, I probably will shut it off, but we'll see how far I can go. I got some Miller Lights from the other night. My friend brought some. He had some left over. He just left them here, so I don't know if I'm going to get through all three, but probably shouldn't even be drinking them. But I've been feeling my face has been like I have sinus issues and stuff. I'm not as bad today, but it was pretty bad yesterday. I'm filming this Saturday. It was pretty bad. Friday I was at work. I was like, I just take it slow. I was starting to feel it, and plus we had the garage door almost fully closed, and because it gets colder outside and stuff, so you get a lot of you're breathing in a lot of stuff. If you're dealing with like sinus issues, it gets worse like that. But I kind of want people tell me I didn't even realize the video game awards was the other night. I think someone mentioned it in a comment, and then I saw a bunch of stuff on Instagram about it. I didn't even realize. I don't really pay attention to that stuff anymore. I never really cared. Like I'd like to see what one game of the year, but I used to go to like specific like Giant Bomb and GameSpot, IGN stuff like that, and, see theirs and stuff. But it never really held weight for me. I saw it was at Baldur's Gate 3 one game of the year. I've not played it. I know a lot of people have loved it. I think I think you can get it on the PS4. Right? People mention I think you can get PS4, PS5 and stuff, and PC. I'm pretty sure I saw it in the PlayStation Store. I might pick it up at some point. Alan Wake won some awards. I saw Alan Wake 2. I gotta get that. There was some Marvel, Bethesda. I guess it's Arcane. The people who do Dishonored. They're making a Marvel Blade game. I would assume that's going to end up being exclusive for the Xbox to kind of counteract the Spider-Man games by Insomniac, and then Wolverine. I'm really excited for Wolverine. I'll talk about Spider-Man 2 in a few minutes. Sega. This excited me more than any of the other stuff. Let me fuck with this focus here for a second. Sega is redoing Crazy Taxi, the Golden Axe. The Shinobi looks kind of cool. They just showed quick clips. I watched some stuff from. I was watching Jeff Gershman. I guess he had it in the archive, his watch along with it, and I was kind of breezing through. But the Shinobi looks cool. It looks like a 2D kind of cool looking art style thing. Crazy Taxi, Streets of Rage. They're going to make another one of Golden Axe look decent. From what I saw, of course, there was quick clips. There was and Jet Set, a new Jet Set game as well. That's exciting because I love especially the older, like the Shinobi's Golden Axe. I love those from the Genesis days. Streets of Rage. So that's kind of, and it said and more, so I don't know what the more will be. Maybe new eSWAT. I doubt that. Maybe a new Kid Chameleon. What are other second one? Echo the Dolphin, maybe. But that was cool. There was some good stuff from Microsoft. I don't know if that's going to be all exclusive stuff, but it was saying Microsoft underneath. There was an exclusive actually. It's by the people who do Persona and stuff. Atlas. It looked kind of cool, a blend of Persona and some other stuff. I think that's going to be exclusive to Xbox. I forget what it was called. Some weird name, but it looked kind of cool. There was another cool game with all types of weird kind of people, not people, weird like creatures and stuff. I don't know I can't remember what it was called though. And I think there were some other announcements as well. Like I said, I was breezing through. I kind of wanted to see the Sega thing real quickly. They showed the God of War Ragnarok DLC is free. Like I said, I forget some of the other stuff. Spider-Man 2, I'm still playing. I was just actually playing it before. I'm enjoying it. It did not win Game of the Year, and people were like pissed, I guess. It didn't. It was nominated. I saw this like 50 times on Instagram. I was like, oh, it was nominated for 7 awards and won none. Like, who cares what's winning what? It doesn't matter because it's so like, they say Baldur's Gate's the game of the year. Well, it wouldn't be my personal game of the year because A, I didn't play it, and B, I've only probably played 2 or 3 games that came out this year. It's the Resident Evil 4 remake, Spider-Man 2, which I've not played full. I'm trying to think if I played any other games that came out in 23. Spider-Man 2 is cool. I wouldn't personally, like, just from playing it about maybe 8 hours so far, 10, maybe even 10 at this point. I wouldn't give it Game of the Year, honestly. Like, it's cool. It's a really cool game, but I feel like it's a game that's been done before. The funny thing about Spider-Man is I actually enjoy doing the side stuff and just going around the city, swinging around the city, or using the web glide things, whatever. And I'm doing all the Prowler stuff. I'm doing Peter's where he goes up and does the stuff with the plants. Those missions, I had to do one where I throw these little drone type things into the air, so I had to get a certain amount of height. The random criminal activities, because there's like a hookup where people will tell you something's happening and you go do it. There's a side thing, the photos, the Sandman memory things. I'm really enjoying all the side stuff and some of the side missions as well. I started one with this Cult of the Flame or whatever. I'm doing that one, and there's some other random ones I've done. I did one with Miles where he had to rescue his teacher and stuff. I'm actually enjoying that more than the main story. I just did the mission with Harry. Is spoilers here. Harry's got the symbiote in there in him, so now he's doing Venom type shit. But he's helping me out. We just saved Tombstone because Craven is he's catching all the villains so he can fight them one-on-one. But he's doing research on all of them, so he has all this knowledge before he even fights them. I kind of do like that. Like Harry's helping out, and Spider-Man's like, "No, what the hell are you doing?" He's just like, "Yeah." He's all for it. I've been switching between. I think Miles has his specific Prowler things he can do. Then Spider Bots too. I've been finding both characters can do that, and you can both do the Marco stuff, the Sandman memories and the pictures as well. Spider-Man can only do the kind of the foundation ones with Harry. Those ones he can do. And certain main missions can only be done, but I've been switching back and forth. I've gotten the controls down much better now. I'm actually remembering to block more, so now I'm really starting to kick ass. I've been taken out a few times. See, one thing about this game, they throw tons of enemies at you, like at a time. It can get annoying sometimes. The city looks amazing though. It really does. Like graphically, it looks great, and the gameplay is fun. But it's not. I don't know how Baldur's Gate 2 is. I'm 3. Sorry, 2 came out. When the hell did 2 come out? Alan Wake 2 looked really cool. If I had played that probably would have been up there for me. I'll probably start Fallen Order Jedi Survivor. I want to kind of install that today. It's a big one, and then maybe tomorrow play some of it. So I might maybe get through that. I'll probably get through Spider-Man 2. I might break off of Spider-Man 2 to do some Survivor, and then all of a sudden Ratchet and Clank gets put on the back burner. And oddly enough, Ratchet and Clank's a little more enjoyable to me than even Spider-Man 2 is. And I'm just saying that because they're both Insomniac games. But it's cool. Spider-Man's really cool. It's fun. And the thing is, it's like it's almost like give me the city where I'm just doing all this random stuff and I don't have to worry about the main missions. Like it really is cool. Traversing through the environment's cool. After you do certain things in each part of the city, you can fast travel to them. And if you get to a certain market, like goes. When you do criminal activities or find little craft boxes, which I've been doing as well, or side missions, or whatever you do in the area you're in, the specific area, you can eventually unlock fast travel. I used it twice, but it's more fun to just jump around, you hit the wind when you're on the web glider, and you go, that's super fun. Like it's a super fun game. But once again, I only played Resident Evil 4, and I would take Resident Evil 4 over that just because I'm more of a fan of that kind of stuff. Still, it's great though. The voice acting's excellent stuff. Like I said, the main story is just not. I'm just like whatever. I want to do all the other crap. And like I said, the banter in between in fights is like half the time I'm not even paying attention anymore. I don't know how they'd be doing all this talking when they're either getting punched in the face or they're punching someone in the face. I don't know how that would work, but it is a really cool game though. I probably will play the first one at some point. But it's enjoyable. Like I said, Ratchet and Clank I put on the back burner. Like comparing, I enjoyed Ghostwire more, and I'm gonna maybe do 2 after I start to beat these games or put enough time into them. I might do rankings. I had done a rankings on my old channel with my PlayStation 3 games back in the day, so maybe I'll do that again with completed PlayStation 5. After I beat more of them, I'll rank them. I'll rank them as I complete them, and then we'll see where they move on the list or whatever. I keep forgetting the GTA 6 trailer had come out. It got leaked, and then it leaked like half a day before. I don't know why, but I watched it. It looked cool. I mean, it was all. It didn't. There was no like gameplay in there, but it looked amazing. Tom Petty had his song in there that I think it's on Spotify. Went up like 6,000% on Spotify. People were listening to it. I think it was "Love Is a Long Road." Laptop's making some sound. Cool. It looks cool. Like it's gonna be Vice City and it's gonna be in Florida. So I saw a picture of a map. I don't know if it's gonna be the actual map, but it is massive. I think they're gonna do like the Miami. I'm just saying that it's not actually Miami, but the Vice City area. And it looks like I forget what that big lake is. That's kind of right over there. And then they probably do some of the side towns and cities in the north. To be honest, I'll get the game when it comes out, but I'm not like blowing my load over the trailers. Like I don't. And people are like, oh, it's gonna be out. That's only a year, dude. It's gonna be put out at the end of 25, probably. A lot of people were probably not old enough, which is crazy, or they didn't see it enough. It's like this is what Rockstar does. Like GTA 5's trailer, I think was like 2011. It came out 2 years later. Like, let them work on the game because it's gonna probably still come out with bugs, but it's just kind of like everybody relax. I don't know, man. The big world, I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be so huge. I don't know what to do. I mean, once I'd get into something like that, I would go with it. But personally, I would rather have another Red Dead Redemption just because, in my opinion, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a better game than any of the GTAs. I mean, that's my personal opinion. So, but I mean, 5 was great. 4 was great. My personal favorite is Vice City, so that could play into it. It seems like the social media thing's going to be, I know they're like mirroring in the trailers, like real things from Florida, like the alligator going into Walmart and shit, and the guy with all the tattoos, I think he said something about it too. So they're doing stuff like that, and the social media aspect's going to easily play into it, and I'm sure Rockstar will satire the shit out of that. Like I said, though, honestly, I'm not like, oh my God, I can't wait. Like, I'm like, whatever, it comes out, it comes out. There's other games I want to play. Like, it doesn't matter. But it doesn't matter. Like, it will not be a bad game. That's the thing. Like, there's never been a terrible GTA where you're like, oh my God, this is unplayable garbage. Like, it's not. That's never happened. I'm more excited about that Final Fantasy VII remake, the second part, Rebirth, that comes out in February. I can't wait to give that a go. What to say? I'm gonna have I'll probably do another collection vid after I guess I hit 10 for the PS5. I'm enjoying it so far. I see Spider-Man 2 has been enjoyable. I really like Ghostwire, but I played Ratchet and Clank was good. I do want to check out Jedi Survivor now though. I kind of want to just install it today because it'll probably take a little bit, and then maybe play it later or tomorrow. But it should be a good one. Someone was saying in the comments that they had played it when it first came out. I guess it was they said it was buggy as shit. I was like, oh man, that sucks. Thankfully, it's kind of annoying with games when they come out and they're like buggy. Oh, here comes the day one patch. The day one patch. It's like what? Day one patch. Like that's crazy when you have to wait for patches to come out for it to run the way it's supposed to. I think Spider-Man 2 people were saying it was buggy when it first came out as well. I was going to say, did that get rushed? But I think when the first one came out, like 18, they were probably making it back in 2018. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's just annoying because it's all this like, oh yeah, I'm gonna pop this. I don't know if it's because I have the charge cable in, but I don't think it is that. I have enough juice to where it will last the remainder of this. But It is exciting though to have this system now, like, because the games are fresh to me. Like I was playing the Xbox One and the PS4, and I'm just like, it got to a point where I'm just buying games and I'm playing for 5 minutes. I don't care. I needed something fresh. It's like, that new gen is out. It's been out for 3 years. It's like I gotta get the damn thing because I'm focused. I focused on Ghostwire. I'm focusing on Spider-Man 2. I did, like I said. I mean, eventually, it's hard for me to go to play two games simultaneously, like the same amount. So, Ratchet and Clank kind of gets pushed to the side for a little bit. And then, if I jump in, it's hard for me to say, okay, I'm going to play 5 hours of Spider-Man 2, then I'm going to play 5 hours of Ratchet and Clank. No, it doesn't really happen like that, which is a good thing because I focus on a game, complete it, move to another. But, it's cool. I do like the menus and stuff and all that stuff. It's fun. I might try to film another gameplay tomorrow. I was thinking about maybe doing it tonight. I don't know, though. It might just be Spider-Man, and it'll probably just be going around the city doing random crap. It's a fun game. Like, it's funny, though, because you see people like, oh, I had this one game of the year, and that didn't. Like, I mean, I can't playing enough of Spider-Man 2 at this point. It's just like, it's an open world game, and it's fun. But it's not, I don't know how Baldur's Gate 3 is either, but I know people were like, it's amazing, I wait till I play a game and I see how it is, I'm not, and like I said, it doesn't matter, I was more interested in what they were showing, but this is like Jeff Keighley's like thing, like, and this award show, it's like they're plowing through the awards, that they're more interested in showing you the new games, like, I don't know, I forgot what it's Hideo Kojima and Jordan Peele are combining to do a game. I think it's going to be Xbox exclusive. I think they were just showing face. I don't know. I've talked about Kojima and his stuff in the past, and amazing games. The story, part of me is almost glad he didn't end up doing that Silent Hills didn't end up happening. That was with Guillermo del Toro as well. So I'm kind of glad it didn't happen because it would not have, it just would have been like, the story would have been like so ridiculous. It's like I love the Metal Gears, but it gets to a point where it's like, what's happening in the story? Oh, I've bitched about this. It's like, oh, Big Boss came back and we used parts from Solidus and stuff because, in his defense, he made Metal Gear in the 80s. He didn't think Big Boss was gonna come back and whenever 4 came out, 2008, 2009. And I like some of the stories are cool, but sometimes it goes too off the rails with him. It seems like it's like. But I'll give him that. He's ambitious as hell, and he does do different stuff. So he's a hell of a fucking game maker, director. He really is. And I'm sure what he does with Jordan Peele will end up being good because Jordan Peele does good. I mean, I like his 3 movies. He's made Us, Nope, and Get Out. Is that the third one? The first one, I should say. I fucking love Nope. Some people hate it. I thought it was great. Like, spoilers here. Like, the reveal of the cryptid thing was so awesome because it was so bizarre looking that I was like, yes, this is what I want to see. Not something you could think up in your mind. It was so out there. Like, that's what what's his name? Neil deGrasse Tyson said. He's like, if these things are real, they would look like something we couldn't even imagine, like, and that's why it was cool because it was so bizarre looking. I'm sure that will be good. I mean, I think that's supposed to be strictly for the Xbox. I don't know. I mean, eventually, I keep forgetting that I can get, if I wanted to later down the line, get a Series S for cheaper, I could, and play specific games. There was nothing, I'm pretty sure, about the new Elder Scrolls, because that ain't coming out for another 50 years, probably. Honestly, it was part of the reason I said, I'm getting the PS5. Their exclusives are more interesting to me. And I was like, well, if they made the new Elder Scrolls exclusive to Xbox only because they own Bethesda, they own Activision now, right? Whoever the fuck else they want to buy. I was like, it's not coming out till 25 at least. It would be a shock if that game appeared in 24. But I would think a 25, maybe even beyond that. Who the hell knows? I don't know if that would probably be, at the very least, it'd be a timed exclusive because Microsoft would be stupid to keep all these as exclusives because Sony, Nintendo, they're going to get paid to get their shit on their system. And so I think Sony's outselling them by crazy amounts too. I'll give Sony this. they have. I think, in my opinion, this is a reason why Microsoft had to buy these companies, because their in-game studios that they have were not making good enough exclusives compared to what Sony's in-game studios do. It's just not even close. Like, I got the Xbox One over the PS4. I remember we were deciding. I was like, because they were both $250. Hell of a deal. This was 3 years after they came out. It was like the typical holiday deal, Black Friday type deal. And I was like, let's get the Xbox, because I liked some of what they had at that point exclusive. And then bullshit came out afterwards exclusive-wise, and it sucked. Like, I always match up. I look at 10. I take 10 Xbox. This is for the Xbox One and PS4 specifically. 10 Xbox One exclusives and 10 PlayStation 4 exclusives. I'm not going to count if they came to PC, because I'm saying console exclusive, because PC, it's a different thing, because Sony will put out like God of War, Ratchet and Clank, Last of Us. They're all out on the PC, I believe, as well. And same thing with the Microsoft stuff. It will end up on PC as well. Like, I'm like, okay, let's see, console exclusives. I'm counting it, because at the time, Quantum Break, I believe, was out. Halo 5 had just come out, I think. Gears of War 4 was there because it came with my system. And they gave you the disc, and they gave you the case, and everything was cool. The Spider-Man 2 was a slip. I was like, come on, man, give me the game. The physical copy. It was those three. Dead Rising 3, which was awesome. Sunset Overdrive, which is another Insomniac made that for Microsoft, and then I guess Sony was just like, come back to us, or something, I don't know. And that was an awesome game, too. It was Quantum Break, and I'm going to just rattle off 10, and I'm not going to count racing games on either side or the sports stuff, because this is stuff that I specifically played and like. Gears of War 4, Gears of War 5, Sunset Overdrive, Dead Rising 3, Quantum Break 5, Halo Infinite, Halo 5, that's 7. What other exclusives did I have for that thing? Did I say? Damn it. Let me try this again, because I think Sunset Overdrive, Dead Rising 3, the 2 Halos, Quantum Break, the 2 Gears of War. Okay, so we have 7 there. What other exclusives did I play for that thing? I can't remember this. I have so many games, I can't remember them. Even if you say those 7, and then I go back to Uncharted 4, Last of Us Part 2, Ratchet and Clank, God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, which I did not play, but people blowing over it, I have it. Death Stranding was an exclusive, which another one I haven't played. Last Guardian was cool from the time I spent with that. Shadow of the Colossus remake, also really cool. I never played Detroit Become Human as well. I have not picked that one up. That was one I was looking to get, and I never did. Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man, I did not play that one as well. But even if you take some of the other, I'm trying to think I played most of the ones I wanted to on the Xbox. But they never had another Fable come out, and that pissed me off. I'm sure that will come out eventually on the Series X, but I was like, eventually I'm going to end up with the Series X or Series S. Series S, let's not pretend I won't. But I was just like, I made a mistake. We should have gotten the PlayStation 4, because at the time it seemed like the right move. And Halo 5 was underwhelming. Infinite was awesome. Gears of War 4 and 5 were cool. I liked 5 more than 4. Actually, 5 was really cool. And I'm leaving out like the indie type stuff. Both consoles have a bunch of exclusives, kind of with the smaller budget indie type games. Like, there was a cool one. Was it called Tell Me Why? It was like in the same kind of action as a Life is Strange type. It was like that kind of game. That was really cool when I played that on Game Pass. I played something else on Game Pass. I thought that was exclusive. What the hell was it? I don't know. But, I don't necessarily regret, I guess, getting the Xbox One, because I ended up with the PS4 years later. But at the time, I would have probably been like, you know what? But, that's why I'm like, PS5, just, they have more stuff I'm interested in. And that's with Microsoft purchasing both of them. Activision, And Bethesda, there's that Indiana Jones game, which they've not shown shit on either after like an early trailer, I think last year. That could end up being exclusive. That and Elder Scrolls were the two. I was like, if they were like, they're coming out this year, or they showed significant stuff, my mind might have changed, but Starfield, no interest in. The Gears will be cool, but the thing is that here's the thing. I don't know what they're doing with Halo anymore. They might even just go straight multiplayer on that. I think I was hearing rumors of that. I would be out on that. The Gears of War I can get past. Fable, admittedly, I would love to play another like true Fable game. If they make stuff like a new Dishonored or Doom I don't care enough about, but like Dishonored when exclusive, that would kind of suck a little bit. And apparently the Ghostwire Tokyo, the person in the comment was saying they're going to make a new Ghostwire game. I'm like, oh shit, that could end up being exclusive, because unless Bethesda, like I said, if Tango Softworks is that, or whatever GameWorks is underneath Bethesda and they're part of them, then that means they're part of Microsoft. That would suck if that ended up just being a straight exclusive. Like if all of a sudden they were like no Call of Duties, and I wouldn't care. Now for other people they'd be like, oh shit, the Call of Duties, But for me personally, I don't care about the Call of Duties enough to be like, oh no, I need to get an Xbox. If they were like Elder Scrolls exclusive, I'd be like, well, I'm getting an Xbox. But I would probably just be like, I'm getting a Series S, and it'd probably explode. I know that one's not as powerful as the Series X. It would probably explode if you threw the Elder Scrolls in there, but I don't think they would I think they would make that, like Fallout might be exclusive. Even Fallout, I don't know if I would care enough. And I loved 4 and I loved 3. But I don't know if that would be enough for me to just be like, oh, I got it. You know what? Sony seems to make fresher, more original exclusives. And you're going to get another Last of Us in this console. Maybe, actually, I don't know. And God of War's out now. I have not played Event Horizon, or Horizon Zero Dawn. Event Horizon, the movie, yeah. Silent Hill 2 Remake's going to be timed for Xbox, from PlayStation, which is huge. Final Fantasy is timed, but I think it's only going to come to PC. And Final Fantasy Forspoken, I think, is timed, and Final Fantasy 16 is also timed. I think you're going to see a lot of timed exclusives from both, and I think like stuff like Fable, Gears of War, Halo will still be straight exclusives. And Starfield was a straight exclusive, and that was a Bethesda game. I think Microsoft will be stupid not to, because they're getting killed. I mean, my personal favorite Xbox is still the original. Whew, they start off with a bang. 360 is awesome too. 360 had much better exclusives than the Xbox One did, and so far the Series X. The 360's the original Xbox is my favorite, but the 360 is their best console in terms of just game library and stuff. Because that's when they put out Fable 2, Fable 3. They had a couple of they had Halo Reach and 3. Even though I'm not super into 3, Reach was amazing. They had Halo 4, which was alright. They had the first first 3 Gears of War and Judgment, so they had 4 Gears of War games. What else did they make? They had a lot of stuff. Like, I know like a lot of the Japanese developers were on top of them when it first came out. Like, I think a few of them ended up coming. Like, Eternal Sonata came to the PlayStation, but I don't think Infinite Undiscovery, or whatever it was called, did. Last Remnant, that might have. But they pulled a lot. But there was a lot of exclusives for the Xbox that they just did. The Xbox, I'm trying to think of more now, but the Xbox 360 had better exclusives. Alan Wake, I'm pretty sure was exclusive to Xbox, right? I'm not talking about back then, not the remaster now, but I'm pretty sure Alan Wake was an exclusive for the Xbox, right? Wasn't it? The 360. I'm trying to think. Splinter Cell Conviction was exclusive to the 360. I'm pretty sure that was an awesome game. I'm trying to think of some of the games. Like the first Condemned never came out on the PlayStation. That was an awesome game. Like, I think they did better. That was their best generation, honestly. And I don't count Nintendo because they do their own thing. Nintendo's their own thing. I was reading like Microsoft wanted to buy Nintendo. Apparently they got like laughed out of the room back when they would still laugh them out of the room because Nintendo's weird. They go from this turned into a real ramble now. They go from being the shit to GameCube doesn't sell shit. I love the GameCube, doesn't sell shit. Wii, explosion of sales. Wii U sells like shit. Switch, like crazy. I don't count Nintendo as... After the GameCube, they were not. They were their own thing. And they have the handheld, well, not anymore. Well, Switch is their handheld now, but like the 3DS. You know, the Game Boy Advance. I remember when the PSP came out, they're like, oh no. Like the DS is done. DS still destroyed it, even though the PSP sold extremely well. It really, the PSP is a hell of a system. The Vita I love, but it sold like shit, which is a shame because it's great. But the problem is they were putting shit out on the PS3 as well. Like they didn't make its own thing. It was like, oh, this also comes to the PS3. I mean, they did a similar thing with the PSP. It's also on the PS2. You know, I'm excited for those Sega games though. Give me that stuff like that. So just make a new Genesis. If they made a new Genesis and just released 16-bit games, I'd be like, this is awesome. Super Nintendo. I go back and forth with those two, between my two favorite consoles of all time, Super Nintendo and the Genesis. It can go either way. It really can. But that was the era I loved, was the 16-bit. And you could throw TurboGrafx in there, even though it was truly... It was like really more of an 8-bit system, but it had like 16. I forget what it was, but it wasn't like a true 16-bit system. Hell of a system, though, TurboGrafx. I wish I still had mine. Oh, it's my gaming regret. I've mentioned that as a gaming regret. I sold it to my friend in 06 because I needed to pay him back for something. No, I was gonna pay. I owed him like $70. And I was like, just take this instead. What the hell am I doing? Hell of a fucking thing. Bloody Wolf, Vigilante, Bonk's Adventure, Bonk's 2. Keith Courage and Alpha Zones. Dungeon Explorer. God, I had a lot of games. King Casino, I had a lot of games for that thing. I miss TurboGrafx. But Genesis and that, and the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube generation was awesome as well. That probably might be my second favorite. PS2, like I said, it's not my personal favorite system of all time, but if you said it was, I wouldn't argue with you because that has the library of all libraries. And you could say now game systems have so many because you have so many downloadable games, the indie type stuff, the smaller budget stuff, so it's like almost infinite, and even the Steam as well. But like you're talking dedicated, just PlayStation, Xbox, GameCube, they didn't have that. Anything before the 360 and stuff didn't have, and the PS3 didn't have that. That PS2 library is like... Good times back then. Like I said, I had the Cube first. I've said this before. I got the Cube when it came out, day after it came out, because I was a Nintendo, but I was like, I'm fucking Nintendo. Scratch Station, the overheat box, or whatever names they would call it back then. And then shit started getting delayed or just outright wasn't coming out on the queue. I'm like, I need something else. So I got a Dreamcast for $20. I got a Dreamcast for $20 like a little over 2 years after it came out, but the PS2 destroyed it, right? Hell of a system, the Dreamcast as well. A lot of people say this, and I tend to agree. First things is Nintendo and Sega are still, they felt like true video game systems, right? Nintendo still has it, but not like they used to. The Dreamcast almost feels like the last true video game system. Like it just, and it's hard to describe. It sounds weird, but it's just the way it was. You're like, yes, if you were around, old enough, and you had a Dreamcast, and you've been playing games for a while, even whatever you've been playing games since N64, PS1, whatever, you'll be like, yes, the Dreamcast felt like a video game. Even the original Xbox didn't truly feel like oh, it's a beefed up PC. It is a console, But I got a Dreamcast for $20 from GameStop used, and I was getting games, and I sold to my friend, and I got the Xbox in March of 2002, and I was like, yes. The original Xbox was sick. It was an awesome system. It had a hard drive in there. Like, you didn't have to get a memory card, even though I stupidly got one because I didn't realize that. And they had great exclusives. The original Xbox had a lot of good exclusives as well. I mean, you're talking Gun Valkyrie, Panzer Dragoon Order. Like Sega was like, yo, that's why people said it's a spiritual successor to the Dreamcast, because Sega was putting out so much shit on there. Ninja Gaiden was exclusive to the Xbox at the time. It came out later on other systems. But, you know, you had the original Dead Rising at the time for 360 was another great exclusive. But anyway, Viva Pinata, everything Rare was doing, I forgot, like Banjo-Kazooie. They had better exclusives on 360 than anything they've done. But you had stuff like Gun Valkyrie, Brute Force, Halo, Halo 2, the original Fable, Sudeki, Dino Crisis 3, I think, was exclusive to the Xbox, even though that wasn't that great of a game. What else did they have as exclusives? Max Payne was not. Max Payne, but the games ran and looked better. Like if it came out on the PS2 and the Xbox and the Cube was more powerful than the PS2. Some people say that Dreamcast is more powerful than the PS2. But the Xbox, a lot of that shit ran better. And not like it looked insanely better. No, you know, unless you're going over it with a fine-tooth comb, you're not really going to notice the difference. Unless it was exclusives, you could be like, holy shit, like a Panzer Dragoon Order and stuff like that. Dead to Rights was exclusive to the Xbox at first, and then they released the inferior version on the GameCube and the PS2, which actually had difficulty levels. Dead Rising did not. I forget what I was talking about before this, but you know, the Xbox came out and you were just like, this is sick. They had a hell of a jump into their new console. You know, they were used to the PC. They're making a console, and it ends up being good. I give them credit for that. It sold fairly well, too, for a new console. I think it was like 30 million units, so. I think the PS2 was like 150-something million. I think it's still the greatest selling console of all time. But the original Xbox, there was just so much cool stuff on it. You know, Morrowind only came out. It came on the PC, but in terms of consoles, only the Xbox could handle it. Blinks the Time Sweeper. Don't forget Blinks. Whatever happened to Blinks? They had that second game, and then no one gave a shit. That used a hard drive to like record stuff because it had like a time thing in it. Obviously, Time Sweeper, but they used the hard drive to, and pretty ambitious actually. Like I said, there was Brute Force, Crimson Skies, which they never made another one of. That was an awesome aerial combat game. A couple, Knights of the Old Republic. You know, I'm not counting PC, but during for the consoles back then, the two Knights of the Old Republic were exclusive for just Jade Empire, the BioWare game. Like they did a lot, and stuff like Arx Fatalis and stuff was only coming. You know, it was on PC, but you know, if you don't have a gaming PC, you just have the Xbox. You're getting stuff that Sony, the PS2, and the GameCube aren't getting. They didn't have a super strong survival horror library, which sucked. They had 2 of the Fatal Frames. They got Silent Hill 2 and 4. 3 was exclusive to the PS2. They did have Dino Crisis 3. They had Call of Cthulhu, Dark Corners of the Earth. They did end up with like Still Life and Cold Fear. Still Life, I think, was only on, once again, PC and Xbox. That was good stuff. Like, I still love the Xbox. It's just a great system. That's why I want to collect have games for like that system, because it's a hell of a console. Good times. Gun Valkyrie, I had that game. It was actually, admittedly, it was decent. It wasn't that great, but only on Xbox, only on Nintendo, the GameCube, and PS2 didn't have anything. They were just like, yeah, whatever, dude. Final Fantasy. I love how the Cube and the Xbox come out, and Sony, like, right around the time those consoles are going to release, because the PS2 came out in 2000. Dreamcast was 99. 2000 PS2, they're like, oh, here's a little something for you. Here's Final Fantasy X. Here's Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. Here's GTA 3. Here's Sound. Oh, you're like, oh my God. Like, these new systems come out and Sony just unleashes an awesome set of games where you're like, well, why would I get those systems, you know? But I love my video games. I really do. Just fun escaping to a different game world and enjoying playing the games. That's what I'm doing now, Spider-Man. You just enjoy it like Ghostwire. You just jump in and you're like, this is awesome. I heard Spider-Man 2 is kind of short, which kind of sucks, but I'm going to do a lot of side shit, so I'll probably add 10 hours to it, but that's kind of annoying. I don't know, I didn't pay for it because it came free with the console, right? They have that thing with GTA with the guys like, I don't know if it was the head of Take-Two or the head of Rockstar. He was like, yeah, it should be more money than $870, or we should charge by the hour. That, first of all, is insane, because if that's a 100-hour game, what? I mean, understandably, if you charge $90 for it, $100 for it, you get 100 hours of gameplay, you can't really complain. That's how I personally do things with video games. Call of Duty, I don't play the multiplayer anymore on that, right? So I'm not going to pay $60, $70 for a 6-hour campaign. I'm not doing it. I'll wait for it to drop. But GTA, the new Final Fantasy, some of those games, like I'm getting Final Fantasy when it comes out at $70 a day. It comes out because I don't care. It's going to have the gameplay. Ghostwire Tokyo I got for $20. If I paid $60 for it or $70 at 33 hours I put into it, still worth it. I mean, even in some ways, Ratchet and Clank, I ended up getting 30, but I know that because I always like to look at the length of games. I'll go to that. Was it like how long to beat.com or whatever, and people put how long it took them. I'll be like, okay, it's only a 12-hour campaign. You could spend like 20. I'm like, that's still decent. You expect, what the thing is, you expect more when the generations go by. You're like, I want my games to be fucking longer. But the funny thing is, $70 isn't that much, because I've talked about this. If you were alive or old enough, there was NES games that would cost $70, $80. Mortal Kombat, when it came out, was like $80. Me and my friend split Road Rash 64 for the Nintendo 64. That was $70. Ocarina of Time was $70 or $80, I think. There was Super Nintendo, N64, the cartridges. Sony changed the game when they had their stuff on discs because it was cheaper to make. So I don't think any PlayStation games were just 50 or less. But even the NES, Super Nintendo, Genesis, some games were expensive. You'd pay $78. It was weird to be like, oh, this game's 30, this game's 80. And that's back then. Like 70 now for back then would be like, what it's like 110 or 120. And so people paying $70, $80 for games back then. That was a shit ton of money. I think the link to the past. I follow some of these pages on Instagram where they show old ads for Sears and Toys R Us, Kmart, KB Toys, stuff like that. And you'll see the prices of these games, and they're all over the place. But I loved it back then, man. When you got games, even up into I would say up into for me personally, the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube era Dreamcast were on as well. When you got games back then, it meant more. And now, when those systems came out, I was in my early 20s. I was 20 I would have been 20 when the Dreamcast came out, 21 PS2, and 22 when the other two came out. So it was early 20s when those systems were doing their thing. And there was not a long console cycle for those, except the PS2. Because they kept pumping games out, even after the PS3 was out. They kind of fucked the PS3 because they were still pumping out gems on the PS2. But there's some sick games back then. But it's still like, I remember when I had the GameCube, I picked up, when I first got it, I got Madden 02, and then I got Rogue Leader 2. No, it was Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader, which looked amazing at the time. But then I got like a wave rate. No, I didn't I got Simpsons. Like, I wasn't getting games all over the place. You didn't have less money and stuff, but I wasn't going nuts with the games, so the games meant more. I'm kind of trying to do that with the PS5. I won't, though. I'll end up with 20 fucking games. I'll play 5 of them, right? The games mean less from like I don't know what the standpoint I would call it, but especially back when you're younger and stuff. I mean, I have half sisters and half brother. They were older, but I was an only child as well, so I had that thing. That's why I got spoiled. I have admitted this. I was a fucking asshole for a bit when I was a kid. I remember apologizing to my mom. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm such an asshole. For like a couple year period, I was a pain in the ass. But it just meant more back then than it does now. I mean, and if you're younger, it means more now because you're not getting as many games. Once you're able to get more games, you realize that the games meant more back then because you would get that fucking one game and you'd have it for 4 months and you'd be like, this is amazing. But yeah, I think it's my third beer and I'm getting buzzed. I'm such a lightweight, which is good. I had a higher tolerance when I was in high school. Oh, after I finish this, I will end it. I'm at 45 minutes at the moment. But I'm going to try to get a gameplay up soon. I said I want to do Spider-Man, I want to do Ratchet & Clank. I got to do the Astro's Playroom, which I have still not checked out. And then Jedi Survivor. Like I said, the Midnight Sun games, it's probably awesome too, but it's going to be the game that sits around sealed for a bit. It always happens. But, good stuff. But yeah, it's just a nice little video game ramble here with some drinking. You guys liked the last drinking and rambling bit I did, so hopefully you guys enjoy this one as well. I've been on a nice run. I'll end it talking about my channel a little bit more instead of the video games, but I've been on a nice run. If anyone gets this far, kudos to you for getting this far. I've been on a hell of a run. That's the thing. That's why, like, the Christmas decoration video is not viewing well. I'll wait 5-6 hours. I'll get another video up. I don't want my views to break because I'm trying to build something, so that's how it goes. I'm trying to think of what I have on the horizon. I might do an eating video tomorrow. Like I said, I gotta get some role plays up. I've talked about this a million times, and this is another thing. I'm not gonna say it here because no one's gonna see it. It's too late in the video. All right, I will say it, and I'll say it again in another video. I think when I start getting requests, I'm just gonna heart the comment and not reply because I reply saying, "Oh, I should be able to do that," and I don't do it, and I feel bad. I gotta stop saying that. I gotta just say I'm gonna heart it, or just say I might. Because I don't want to be like, I'm going to do it, and then I forget, or I don't do it, and I feel bad. But yeah, more PS5 stuff to come, and I'll do a Christmas haul video when that happens. We're going to see the Trans-Siberian Orchestra at the UBS Arena soon. That should be fun. We'll take the train in. It's a little bit of annoyance because you got to take multiple trains to get there. But I heard parking over there and dealing with that over there is a pain in the ass. Which I laughed because I was like, that's UBS Arena's technically it's Nassau County. It's like literally on the border, I think, of Queens and Nassau. But we went to see a concert in Tampa when we were down in Florida. This was 2017 or 2018. I think it was 17. And, we went into Tampa. It was where, I forget how you say, MLA Arena, where the Lightning play. And we had a specific spot where we were able to park, and then we walked 5 minutes over there. Simple. This is a city. Simple. Nassau County, Belmont, Floral Park, Elmont is not a city, yet it's more of a pain in the ass there than it is in an actual city because that's how overpopulated it is on Long Island. It's nuts. But anyway, let's push it to 50 minutes. I'm at 49. But yeah, that's some drinking and rambling. The sun is hitting the thing at the right time. So I'm filming this I started filming this at before 1 o'clock. It'll be up probably 2:30, something like that. I like doing these videos because it's just me getting a little buzzed and rambling, and you guys enjoy it, which is nice. I would do rambles every day, honestly. I really would. You give me requests to ramble on specific subjects, and I will gladly do those. But yeah, I'm going to let this hit 50, and then I will turn it off after the 15-minute mark. So we did get through a long one. I did not hear the sirens or anything like that. But yeah, I'm gonna probably end up doing another PlayStation 5 collection video early 2020 because I'm gonna end up with like 10 games after Christmas, I think. Yeah, that'd be fun. But anyway, yeah, this is just a drinking and rambling about video games for 95% of it, and some other crap in between. And thanks for checking this out, and have a good day.